Bus.biz virtual conference. You can see the logo up above my avatar head for On the Bus with the Small Business Owners Coaching. We are connecting with so many wonderful people here at this event. And someone that I consider a friend now, having connected here, is Heather Felty. Heather, I am so glad that you are here at the event and that you've come over to have a conversation with us. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and your company.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Heather Felty. I'm the owner and publisher of Inner Peace Press. It's a small, traditional book publishing company. Most of the books, well, I started about 5 years ago. And most of the books that I was publishing in the beginning were memoirs, people sharing their personal story of transformation so that the reader doesn't feel so alone in what they're going through, or for the reader to understand a perspective of a situation that they wouldn't otherwise know about. A lot of more books that have been publishing since then have to do with traumatic brain injury. So those are more like memoirs. And then there are a number of books on grief and processing through grief, both for adults and children's. I started to get into children's books because of the grief. And then now I'm doing more sort of guidebooks, not workbooks per se, but guidebooks for people to understand who they are better, so that they can have better relationships, just overall follow their purpose and passion a little bit more. But it's really about how can we be good enough with ourselves so that we can help heal others in the end. So I know it sounds like very altruistic, and it is, but that's what we need right now, is for people to understand that we're all going through something, and that, how can we slow down and understand humanity a little bit more deeply. So that's the overall purpose of what my company is doing, with Inner Peace Press is doing. I work with all different types of people, mostly they're first-time authors. I do take manuscripts that are ready to go, and if we agree to go to publish together, then I take that project on with no cost. So I'm not a vanity press, not a hybrid press. It's a true traditional press. Sometimes people aren't ready they don't have the book written, and so I offer writing coaching. So I work with people week by week. Usually it takes somewhere between 4 and 6 months, sometimes longer, but 5 to 6 months is if somebody's really doing the work. That's about how long it usually takes for them to write the book. So we start the first few weeks. It's about the outline, what will the book be about, and it's all focused on the reader. What does the reader get out of it? Because anybody can tell their story, but are you telling it for yourself, or are you telling it to try and support somebody else in what they're going through? So that's what we keep the focus on, always reader first, because that's who we're trying to help with the whole thing. And then if somebody does publish with Inner Peace Press, they become a part of the Inner Peace Author Network. We have monthly meetings. We discuss each other's books, but also marketing and different tactics to share the message about the books. My goal would be for the Inner Peace Press authors to find collaborations, to do things together, and that's been happening. So that brings me a lot of joy, because again, when we bring our voices together, we can be heard more and more clearly. So that's pretty much what it is. I also help people with self-publishing, because not every book is under oh, see these emojis coming up. That's so funny. I'm like putting my thumbs up.
I love it.
Popping up. Sorry. It's a cool platform.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So how can we, again, come together, support one another? Oh, I was saying about the self-publishing is that, yeah, so sometimes people, it's better for them to self-publish their book. Maybe they're a business owner and it's better for their business to be the publisher. And so I've also helped a couple dozen or more books be published in these last 5 years, as well with that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Excellent. Well, and for those that are not as familiar with the publishing end, I know you mentioned some different types of publishing. You want to give us a little bit of like the educational end of this, of what does it mean to publish with you versus somebody else? And because I don't know what those options all look like myself.
Yeah. So really, bottom line, publishing is when you make your book available for people to purchase it. So in some places, like I also get hundreds of copies of a book printed, and then people can go to my website and purchase it. And then I mail it to them, or they can go to Amazon or barnesandnoble.com or and order it there, and they can receive it. So that ability for somebody to order is the book being published. It's out there to be purchased. Um, I had mentioned before about the vanity presses or hybrid presses. That's a type of company that's been around for, well, a while, but it's really popular now because people who want to publish a book but don't know how, they don't know the technical part, they don't, they need somebody to do that, then they can hire somebody and they pay, it ranges, but like anywhere from $3,000 to $20,000. Then the company takes your book, they design it, they edit it hopefully, and then they publish it. And then as a part of that money that you're giving them, you get so many copies of the book, and that's part of the process. And then so it's published. How do people get it? At that point, it's usually Amazon, but maybe the author would have some copies to sell on their own. There are also a lot of anthologies that happen, especially in the business world, where people can come together on a topic and each individual write an essay that contributes to the entire book. And so some of those you can do and not pay for, but oftentimes authors pay to be in that because the payment includes a bit of marketing to get your name out there. Again, you're connected with those other authors, and maybe there'll be press that can happen, press tours or something like that. So it's that marketing piece. I would say that what differentiates me from another small press, besides just the concept of what the books are, is that network, that author network that I have created. And the reason I created that was actually I have a friend who's an author, and she's worked with a number of different publishers. She has a number of books, and she was telling me a few years ago how her publisher was not very supportive of her, and so she banded with a number of the other authors under that publishing company, and they formed their own group, and they met together to support each other with the marketing needs and different ideas and what they could do. And so I said, that's a great idea. And so that's when I started the Inner Peace Press Author Network for that. And then I also meet with authors almost as much as they want. Usually it's once a month after they've published, so that we can continue to talk about different ideas, different ways to get the book out there, different marketing techniques, finding other podcasts. I have a database that authors can go and find different speaking engagements to be able to get the word out there. And also a number of the authors who I've worked with have gone on then to write their second or third books as well, because we meet and it's like, hey, why don't you do this book? And they're like, yeah, it's a great idea. And then now they know what the process is, and each time it gets a little bit easier. So
amazing. I love that. What the great concept of being able to connect. I mean, it's kind of like being here at this event where you get to connect with others. But if you have the group of authors like that, they're already going to connect in some fashion because they have that similarity. They're all already authors. They have a similar interest in that aspect of it. And how do you get your story out? How do you share that out? What ways do you go about that? And that's where having that kind of a mastermind type group like that truly gets you launched forward so much faster than if you struggled all by yourself trying to figure this all out.
Absolutely. And again, well, I have two things I'd like to share. Is that one is that a number of the authors who I work with, I support them also to build a business if they don't already have one around their book, right? And so if they're, some people I'm working with, they're coaches, so they already have a business or whatever it is, or whatever they're doing. Other people, they don't have something, but they want to be an advocate, that they've written a book of advocacy, post-concussion depression syndrome. I have a book on that. The mother wrote the book. Her son, unfortunately, took his life. And so she's an advocate now. That's not her career, but that's what she's doing now. And so I support her to do her advocacy. I have another author who has had over 100 electroshock therapy treatments. And so she had significant brain damage as a result of that. Turns out that she found running and a service dog helped her more than the electroshock therapy treatments did. And so now she's written her memoir, very strong book called Shocked. And now she is an advocate. So we've set up her website and, her one sheet to get on podcasts so people can understand that ECT is still happening all over the world. 100,000 people are still receiving shock therapy treatments, and it's unregulated. It's a lot to it, but it's like, so anyway, so that's one thing, is that I support the author to get their work out, their word out, and to build themselves up. But the other thing I wanted to share about that connection is that a number of the authors who I am working with, they are people who are used to being in the background. They're not the people who are in the front saying, listen to me, listen to me. And so there's this bit of, it's not really imposter syndrome, but it's like, who am I to do this? And so we have those conversations as a group to say, and so we can bring in some confidence, because there might be one person who's done it and can say, here's how I got through it. And, what we're finding generally is that you can always stand behind your book and put your book first and say, I want to share this book with you because it has a lot of great information that could help you.
I love that. That makes, this is such a great thing that you've done. I love your business model here. What you're doing to bring the authors together, and the stories that you're sharing are tremendous. But there's a purpose here. And I love what you have and what you do. Remind us again, how can people reach out and find you?
Well, pretty much everything at Inner Peace Press. So all the socials at Inner Peace Press. You can go to the website, innerpeacepress.com. If you're interested in having a chat, you can go to the Get Published tab on the website, and my Calendly is at the bottom of that page, or Heather at innerpeacepress.com. Happy to talk with people. I don't pitch myself when it's right. It's a solid connection. So, but I'm always happy to help people if they just have a question, they're just starting out, they're not sure even where to start. Happy to guide people as much as I can.
I love it. And just the name of your business speaks volumes too. Inner Peace Press. I love it. This again is Heather Felty with Inner Peace Press, and we're here at onthebus.biz virtual conference. This is held quarterly, and our next event here, you can join us. Be here and meet Heather yourself, and don't wait that long. But if you do, you can meet her just like this, and that's on Tuesday, June 16th. So mark your calendars for that to come on and join us here. Thank you so much, Heather, for all you do. This has been a real pleasure getting a chance to talk with you and share out all the great things you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for the opportunity and for your willingness to be here and give us this voice as well.
Awesome. As always, for all of us here with the World of Ability Podcast Network, we thank you.